Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Shanacee and welcome to my channel where I dare you to live, be, and do. You guys, we are talking about fear today. Oh my God, I can't stand fear, but I can't stand fear, but we're going to talk about that today. This is one of the 3 videos from this series, Start Scared. You guys, this is the perfect time to start whatever you guys have been putting off. I'm not trying to pressure you, but I am, because I understand that we're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm not one of those people that's going to pressure you and tell you to do something. But if you have a dream and you have a goal that you're trying to accomplish and you've been putting it off, you have the luxury of time right now. And you can use this time to your advantage to develop something that can absolutely change the world. No pressure or anything. But I'm just saying that this is the time to even just develop and soul search. And this is what this series is all about. So today's video is all about fear. The next 2 videos are going to be about hurry up and fail. And the 3rd video is going to be show up anyway. And so it's kind of going to be like a process of getting you out of fear, pushing you to go ahead and show up in whatever area that you're dreaming in. And what's the 3rd one? Oh yeah, and hurry up and fail is going to help you to just get over that fear of failure. So I'm excited about this because this is not me trying to position myself as this huge expert, like I'm just so over all of these things. I've actually have had a long relationship with being fearful. Like, it's not a day that goes by that fear doesn't creep up in my mind of, will it work out? How will it work out? And I think that's because I'm one of those people. I'm very outcome oriented. I need to know every intricate part of how things are going to work out. And the crazy thing is, but I'm a Christian though. And it's like the faith is literally the opposite. You don't know what's about to happen. You don't know how it's going to turn out. And so I've had that budding inward part of me, that faith part of me, and that part of me that just has to know and that gets caught up in the results and then starts to obsess over what if it doesn't happen or how is it going to happen. So look, like I said, I'm not positioning myself as an expert. I'm positioning myself as like a big sister, somebody who has been through it and who has continually gone through it, and now I feel like I have gained a lot of wisdom and clarity over fear. So I wanted to use my YouTube journey to kind of be like the example and illustration for today's video. Some of you guys know me, some of you guys don't. I've been on YouTube since 2014, and it's been like an on and off relationship for such a long time. I went to school for broadcasting. I went to Michigan State, got my degree in broadcasting. Had really no idea how or what I was going to do with this degree. I just knew that I loved communication and I could speak well, and I knew that there was something there. I just didn't know what it was. I'm Shanacee Shreve here in Edinburgh, Scotland, where I'm getting the people's opinion on the split between the UK and Scotland. I'm Shanacee Shreve in Dublin, Ireland, where I just spoke to Senator Terry Brennan on the topic of abortion. And I felt like that was the closest major to what I wanted to do. They didn't have a YouTube major, or I didn't know that this stuff was possible in 2014 to be doing this. I really didn't know. So I was just going with what I thought was right. There was a pivot though, a big shift in my life when I got my degree and I started looking for jobs in broadcasting. I had this moment where I was like, you know what? If I'm very honest with myself, I don't know for sure if I want to do this. I'm like 90% sure I don't want to go ahead and go into broadcasting. It was requiring me to move all around the nation. You know, there was a certain type of ladder you had to climb to get to where you wanted to go, you know, to be that anchor at the desk. It was a lifelong climb. And I just really had to ask myself, I'm one of those people, I can kind of see further than the moment. I'm like, I don't think this is for me. I had to be really brave in that moment and be like, I'm going to speak up. I remember I got my first job offer for broadcasting. It was in Maine, you guys, Bangor, Maine. And they offered me $17,000, you guys, $17,000. Like, you can make that at McDonald's. They wanted me to move in a week. they were hooking me up with the NAACP. They wanted me to, and trust me, there's not many African Americans in Bangor, Maine. The president of the NAACP had called me up and was like, you can stay here until you figure it out. And it was just all this stuff happening at once. And that's when I kind of realized, like, you know what? I really don't think this is what I want to do. And that was kind of like the defining moment when I turned on that job. And I just kept thinking about it, and finally I just let my parents know, like, this is not for me. My dad, bless him God, my dad is my #1 fan, and he's always wanted me to pursue that career and, you know, be famous, honestly. And I've always felt so bad for having to break his heart. And I remember him coming home like, you know, I came from the barbershop and the dude that cut my hair said he knows somebody at the news station that can get you. And I was just like, wow, he really don't get it that I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And I just had to be brave in it. So I was trying to figure out my voice. I'm like, okay, I don't want to go into broadcasting like conventionally, but maybe entertainment is for me. So I started a YouTube channel. I originally started talking about different like hot topics. I was trying to go the Wendy Williams route. I don't know why, because I'm definitely not even that person, but I was trying to find myself. So my YouTube channel initially was me talking about like current events, different topics. But eventually I started talking about purpose. I started talking about dreams. That's when it got scary. That's when I started being like, whoa, it's something here. That's when fear started to set in, because I was really doing something that I loved. And I put more pressure on the situation of what should I talk about? What should I do? What if people don't like this? I was getting very vulnerable, and that's when I started getting afraid of the results, because it's easy to do something that you're unattached to. But when you start having some type of feelings or some type of connection to what you're doing, when it really starts to matter to you, you're afraid that it won't happen or it won't turn out the way that you expected. And so with my journey on, you know, doing my YouTube channel, I was working as a waitress, and I was waitressing, and that was a whole nother journey, you guys. Like, here I am with a degree. Here I am supposed to be like the one that's doing what she was supposed to do, or following all the rules or whatever, which is totally overrated anyway. But it was just a lot of expectations that were on me by everybody else, whether they realized it or not. And working as a waitress was very humbling to me. It brought me a lot of humility, and I really just had no true idea of what the hell I was doing, to be honest. I just knew that I had a passion and a desire to motivate and to share messages that came from the heart, and I really did not know how that was going to happen. And so I just remember days of just being depressed because I just didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand how to get what I had in me out. I didn't know how to label it, or what to call myself, or how to start on it. And so I don't know, it was a long process, and it still is a long process, you guys. Like, when I think about all of these videos that I do now, I'm still nervous. Like, what if they don't understand what I'm saying? I don't want anybody to perceive me as like trying to be a pastor. I don't want anyone trying to perceive me as being a know-it-all. I just want people to authentically understand me. And it's like, the only way that people are going to understand you or get it is if you show up and you keep trying. Like, and I think that's one of the major things that I had to learn. And that fear that got me was like, what if it doesn't work out? What if? And I had to really change my thought processes of what failure and fear is. I had to think to myself, like, is this really a failure if I put something out and I don't get the exact results that I want? No, it's not. It's a trial and error. It's a trial and error in the process. But one of the things that I learned is, what is worse? Is it worse bottling up that thing that you have? Or is it worse going out and trying it and maybe not getting that result that you want right away. And I've learned the hard way that it's worse to bottle it up, because I tried to bottle it up. I tried to take a hiatus from my channel and do different things, but it was always a nagging feeling in me like, you need to be doing this. You need to be showing up. You need to follow what you really want to do. Stop trying to help everybody do everything else. Stop trying to find out the most conventional route or do the thing that is kind of close to what you want to do. Stop playing it safe and go ahead and try it for real. Like, show up. And I just really hate fear because it's truly a lie. My pastor always says that fear is false evidence appearing real. And it's so true, because fear is literally not real. It's all in your head. It's all a defense mechanism within you. And sometimes fear is placed in you from outside people, from words that were placed in you, from just the enemy trying to keep you from coming into that purpose and that thing that's going to catapult you, you know. And you just can't despise the small beginnings, you guys. You can't despise the power of just showing up. You can't despise the power of just doing it anyway. When I started my YouTube channel, I did it on my computer camera, and I just pressed post. I pressed post. I got in front of the camera, I shared what was on my heart, and I pressed post. And that started so much for me. And I noticed that every time that I show up and I'm authentic and I just share whatever it is that I have in me, people respect it. And I think that we villainize everyone. We villainize people and make it seem like there's just a world full of haters out there, and there's nobody that could possibly understand us, and that the world is out to get us. And it's just so not true. It's such a trick, because there are people out here who need you. There's people out here who need that idea that you have. There's people out here that need that message that's in you. There's people out here that need, you know, that business that you're going to create. There's people that you're going to employ. There's people that you're going to assist. There's lives that you're going to change. And we get so caught up in the negative side of it, rather than leaning into the very possibility of it actually working out, the very possibility of that thing growing. And I think that's what we have to understand, is that this thing is a journey and it's a growth. You know, you never can just plant a seed in the ground and expect that tomorrow you're going to have a tree. It don't work like that. It takes watering. It takes time. It takes learning. You know how many plants I've killed? That sounded weird, but do you know how many plants I've killed? How many plants I've bought and I tried to water and I overwatered it? Or it's, you know, I put it in the sun for too long, or I put it in the dark room for too long. That's the same with your dream or your goal. Like, there's going to be times where you try it one way and you might have failed completely in that. There's going to be times where you might have exposed the dream too soon, or you may have talked to the wrong person about it and they may not have agreed with you. But are you going to let that die? Are you going to let that dream die because that person didn't get it? Or are you going to plant a seed somewhere else and find the people who actually appreciate you? It's like, the thing is, we can't stop. And it took me so long to get that, but you have to fall in love with the process. The fact that you are going to be scared, the fact that you are not going to know what's going to happen, the fact that they might not get it, they might not, but who cares? And I've been reading Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, over this quarantine, and in her book, it says that she's been lucky enough now in her life to meet all sorts of extraordinary and accomplished people. What I've learned is this: all of them have doubters. Some continue to have roaring, stadium-sized collections of critics, naysayers who shout, "I told you so," at every little mishap or mistake. The noise doesn't go away, but the most successful people I know have figured out how to live with it, how to lean on the people who believe in them, and how to push onward with their goals. I was about to say girl, but I don't know who's watching. You guys. Like, you have to push onward with your goals and not worry about who doesn't support, or not worry about what's not going to happen for you. Like I said, fear is false evidence appearing real. And she also said in here, let me find it. She also said in here, failure is a feeling long before it's an actual result. It's a feeling, you guys. You know how many times I don't feel like it? You know how many times I get moody or get into different moods? If it's a feeling, it means that it can change. The thought of failure doesn't have to take root in your life. The thought of you not working out or it not working out doesn't have to take root. It's a temporary thing. Sometimes it's going to pop up. You tell that thing to go away. And the way that you get rid of that fear, the way that you overcome that fear is by doing. I know for myself, lately during this quarantine, I have been doing more lives. I have been doing more discussions, talking to different people, putting myself out there. Every time I put myself out there, I get some good out of it. I get somebody messaging me like, girl, you're so dope. You're doing this, you're doing that. Oh my God, you inspired me. Oh my God, you know so much. Whole time, I was sitting up here thinking that I don't know enough, thinking that I had to learn more of something, thinking that I needed more of this. Oh, thinking I needed more of that. Thinking that, you know, I had to be perfect and brand myself perfectly, thinking that I had to do all of these things just to be myself. Turns out whole time that people really just love who I authentically am, and people want to see more of that. Crazy. And it's the same thing with you. People are just waiting for you to show up. People are waiting for you to give them whatever it is you've been holding on to. Let that thing out. Let that thing out. Like, let it go. Let it flow. This is the time. So, you know, I want to challenge you in this first video to write down your vision of what your dream is and what your goal is. Write that vision and make it plain. We're going to write it out. What does it look like? If money, if time was not a thing, what is that one thing that you really just want to do, that you would love to do, that you would do for free if you had to? The thing that you love that much. Write that thing out. What does it look like? Just hold on to that. And we're going to work on it in the next video. You guys, I'm excited. I'm excited because getting over fear is not an overnight thing. But we're starting it. We're starting that process of getting over it. We're starting that process of bossing up and doing what God wants us to do. He's given us this time. I love him because he's given us this time. And I know some of us have lost people. And I know some of us have heard bad reports and bad news. But that's even the more reason why time is now. Time is of the essence. Act now. Whatever it is that God has placed in your heart for you to do, start that thing, you guys. We have the time right now to build the foundation. And when we leave out of this quarantine, when we leave out of this process, who knows what that thing can turn into. I'm excited for you guys. I could talk to you forever. Stay tuned for that next video, you guys. This is going to be a 3-video series. If you are inspired and fired up like me, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. This is just the beginning, you guys. Write that vision. Get excited. I hope this motivated you. I'm motivated, you guys. Just know that the best is coming. The best hasn't even gotten there for your life. Where you are at now, you're not always going to be there, you guys. You're moving on to greater and to better. And I read the scripture last night, and it was like, you know, God holds our hand. We might stumble, we might fall. We might stumble, but we'll never fall because God holds our hand. That's the same with your dreams. You don't got to be all deep and be like, yeah, God holds my hand in the spirit and all of this stuff. God also holds your hand, and he cares about your dreams. He cares about your goals. He cares about those things that he puts inside of you. If he's holding your hand, if God's hand is in lock with yours, and he's ordering your steps every day, like a mom and a baby, if I'm holding my baby's hand and we're taking step by step, I'm going to make sure my baby's good. I'm going to make sure my baby don't fall. If my baby trips, I'm going to catch him, pick him up, and keep going. And that's the way God is with you. He is making sure that you come into all of those things. You just can't give up. You can't let go of his hand and start trying to do it yourself. You got to really grab hold of him, and you got to push past the negativity and the fear and know that there's a world of possibilities out there for you. So let's do it. Let's start, okay? Even if we are are scared. So I will see you guys in my next video. I'm excited, you guys. All right, you guys, I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. Peace. You know, that song is like, I ain't never scared. I'm always scared. Hold on, that's corny. Okay, start over.